any common ground on ontology, then we have little hopes of agreeing on axiology, which is how to value and establish moral action. The burgeoning field of multi-speciesism is born from a conjunction between science studies, ethnographic methods, theories of ontology, and indigenous studies. From that literature, we've learned much about how other societies understand relations beyond the human, meaning with rocks, plants, landscapes, planets, meteorological events, and of course animals. What object-oriented science has considered material reality, small-scale societies, primarily oral peoples, and many indigenous communities, among others, have understood intersubjectively. Put another way, human health and illness are inextricably linked to our relations with the elements, meteorological events, our balance with others, including other than human persons. And some of these intersubjective approaches to health are indeed aboriginal, so the term New Age mislabels many of the ways of knowing that are the opposite of new. So to avoid falling into binary thinking, such as truth versus folklore, bear in mind that many of these same communities do understand categorical differences between sayings and tells, knowledge. They see knowledge as changing over time. Central to these ontological perspectives about the world is the recognition that things might not be things at all. As one particular form of technology, communication structures culture, and it enables humans and others to foster intersubjectivity through their play with signification systems, something I can't explain in 10 minutes, but a few examples may be able to illustrate my point. For the Tlingit people, glaciers have been communicating with Europeans since before the Tlingit people have understood glaciers as being able to communicate with humans before Europeans ever arrived. And for the people in Timor, they understand not only trees, but also water and soil as having agency. My work with the Yuame of Northwest Mexico has enabled me to experience firsthand how flowers, animals, and humans are perceived as being able to sustain communication and intersubjective agency with humans. The ontological research rarely claims that all objects have the ability to communicate and relate. Rather, that certain indigenous communities, through their languages, have a perceptual door open that most European-based languages and cultures keep firmly shut. For A. Irving Hollowell in particular, grammatical categories of nouns that are animate rather than inanimate provide Ojibwe people the option to perceive some non-human persons as exercising will, intention, and ability. Such perception enlarges our ability not only to see life differently, but to appreciate the ways that organisms act intelligently. If plants, and what many people call nature, which would include rocks, landscapes, groves, rivers, etc., are capable of being alive and intelligent and emotional, then we must collectively rethink what we consider life on other planets and what we consider intelligent life. Not doing so, not attempting to think beyond the human, invites the question of how advanced we ourselves are as a society, and whether we should actually be using our own model as a standard for life off a planet. How can we pursue the next frontier honestly, without examining our own history of societal contact and colonization, one that has led us to completely disregard these other perceptions? And how are we as inhabitants of the planet moving toward new planets ethically if we completely just dismiss the worldviews of humans that we contacted in previous frontiers on Earth? Our working group offered perspectives based on research among indigenous communities and our knowledge of indigenous studies, methods, and theories. In some ways, we wanted to lay out our case in terms that they were likely to be understood. So we compared it to institutional review boards. We explained how our universities require us to prove not simply that our research is unlikely to be harmful, but that we most definitely would mitigate any and all risk of causing harm to our collaborators and subjects. We wanted to convey that the responsibility was on Breakthrough Listen and SETI scientists to clearly state their intentions for contact and how their methods were safe and ethical. The response we received from them was simple. Now, how could we be harmful if we're just listening? But intent is indeed powerful. It's constitutive of how encounters end up playing out. And if DEI doesn't include other people's perceptions and languages and differing ways of knowing, then it would not matter how diverse our teams looked physically. As I often heard in a dear Navajo family's household, how things start are how they will end. And with such a limited notion of life, the scientist at the forefront of search for life on other planets seems well prepared to not discover, but cover over life with the same European ego that still fails to encounter the diversity of life on this Earth. Thank you so much.
These are the banners.
Affirmative.
They smell even worse than I imagined.
You can smell them.
Well, an array of sensors in your armor can, and I analyzed the input. You smell fine, by the way.
Brilliant. That is some cool information. An array of sensors in your armor can smell them, and I analyze the input. Which means that whilst the computer, the AI, cannot actively smell, they can associate the signatures from the sensors to effectively synthesize what that smell may be. So for example, if you are observing a volcanic area that has a lot of like sulfur, from what I understand from some documentaries about volcanoes and being a child that was entertained by farts with my friends or flatulence.
Yes, it is.
Sulfur is what contributes to the eggy smell. It's brilliant. What is it?
Yes. It's safe. Pardon me. I don't know how, but it was me. It was the last part I remember being deleted. Let me just... You are here because you were chosen. Our enemies are getting smarter and more numerous every day. What I am about to show you will help turn
Again
the
with the
tide
military
of war.
talk.
I have been working.
I guess this whole series is about the military part.
Shipborne AI onto the battlefield. Are you ready?
Yes, Dr. Halsey.
Unlike previous AI models, she will reside between your mind and the suit, directly communicating with your neural interface. Think of her as a new set of eyes to aid your reactions and upgrade your reconnaissance. She's not the driver, but a way to level the playing field.
What do I call her?
Ask her. She named herself. Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana. Together, you become our newfound hope. Together, you become our key to humanity's survival.
Yeah, so this is the origins of the Cortana that you get in Microsoft laptops, phones, computers, search engines, Bing. I was first introduced to Cortana in 2003, if not 2003, then
What
2005.
happened?
I think it was
I
2005
touched it and
through Halo
Was that
Combat
real?
Evolved, which was released in 2003.
it's just data.
And
It's just here.
like they described,
Clusters of recursive code.
Cortana is this
But this, on the other hand,
assistive interface
this is the
between
framework I use
what
to
you're
track
doing or what
Cortana.
you're seeing, or
It
what
contains
they
a
described
copy of
earlier
the
of the
activation
senses,
index,
what
at
you're
least
seeing and
fragments of
perceiving
it.
in the external, and what you're able to
What
act
should we
with.
do with it?
Do we need it?
Well, based on what you've told me so far, the bigger question is, did Banished need it?
Do it.
That was... something? Let's go. Did I miss something? There's a file that's been unlocked, but I don't have access.
We need a route out of here.
Okay, let's see. There's a breach close by. It should lead us to the surface. Give me a second, and I'll get this bridge activated. We've got company, Chief. Meet me at the plinth up ahead.
We gotta fight them! Dead! Easy.
When I bring him your head, he is gone. The stories were lies. I bet he's already run off.
Kill the human! I'll make this break.
Alright, cool. So evidently I was not playing there for a little bit. We're going to continue playing now, but I was looking for a series of talks to follow on from what we were observing earlier. So let's do that now. I might break this one off and start a new one.